Okay, so welcome everybody to How to Run a Brilliant Consult. This is open to all practitioners of all modalities and especially to my students. So welcome everybody. We are recording, as I said. We are using case studies today. I've taken photos of some of the case studies that have come through. So we want to honour not only the people that, it's all anonymous, obviously. We don't have names. I have not taken a screenshot of the first page of the case studies, but you will recognise your handwriting. So we're going to honour both the client and the practitioner today. There's nothing that you guys haven't heard before if your case study is up on the screen, because I've already given you a private 20 or 30 minute review on that. So we're here to learn. I just grabbed the random ones that are on my desk, so I didn't pick any ones that were like, seriously wrong or anything like that. So just make sure you don't go into your own stuff today if your handwriting comes up, rather than being triggered into like, oh my God, I've done it wrong. It's like, no, I'm here to learn. So we're just letting some other people in. Okay, so it should go for about 60 minutes, maybe 90. I don't know how long it's going to go. I was going to do a live one as well, so we'll see how that goes. And choose one of you if we have enough time. Just know that my style, for the people that don't know me here, is a no approach. So there's swearing and there's we just get to the guts of it. I'm not here to fluff around. Also not here to sell anything today. You are not going to get any kind of like, here's a special deal. This is literally just a free masterclass on how to do this. You can ask questions as we go, as I said, and just put your raise hand button down the bottom, or you can wait until I pause and ask if anyone's got any questions. So who am I? My name is Catherine Lyle. I am from quantum medicine and I'm a medicine woman, and which means I do everything. But my biggest modality, or the one I use the most, is the kinesiology. I'm also a massage therapist. I do Egyptian healing, Chiron healing, a whole lot of energy healing, a whole lot of little modalities that all come into my kinesiology. I also teach kinesiology, my own system, and some of the students are on here today. There's the kinesiology course for beginners and the Renouncing Past Life course, and another course dropped in a few days ago. I've got one sitting there ready to go in terms of, I've got to edit it and create protocols around it. So it's the magic is coming through thick and fast now, and teaching is my favourite thing to do. I also run events for the public, DNA clearing, and also inner child, which includes kinesiology, energy healing, breath work, that type of thing. Teaching is my thing. That's why I'm doing this for free today. It's much needed. After we did the Renouncing Past Life Contracts course, I've run 2 of them so far. It's become really obvious because of that exact protocol that we need to find out the priority stress in terms of before we do the session. I've seen lots and lots and lots and lots of case studies now, and it's been a brilliant exercise for me to learn and to also be able to teach differently because of it. So it wasn't just about, the students getting assessed and qualifying. It's been amazing. So you're going to see some of that today, and I've got the actual case studies here in front of me, and we're going to run through them, and I'll look at all my notes that I already gave these practitioners. But it became really obvious in past life clearings, if you're looking for you need to find the priority stress, because if someone comes in and you say, what do you want to work on? They just might go on and on and on and on forever. And one little issue turns into another little issue, and then there's a big issue, and then, oh shit, I forgot this one. And, and then there's pain, and then there's this and that. With past life clearings, we are looking for the priority stress because we want to know what the hell is going on in this life that you want to do a past life clearing on a stress, right? Because when we do that session, we're not looking for a past life, contract that you had with your ex-boyfriend or, a friend or your mother. We're looking at what is the stress that's showing up in this lifetime that is connected to all these past lives, and then we go collect all those contracts. So as you can probably guess, if you haven't even done these processes or had one yourself, is if we just get a generalized, like, I'm not good enough kind of I call it an umbrella term, right? We're just throwing a blanket over all the other issues, then you're going to get a general outcome. So what we're doing today is we're going through those case studies in detail, and I'm also going to ask you some questions. Most of it's going to be teaching today, but we'll see how we go for time. Okay, so why do we need to get the consult right? It's kind of obvious because I've just spoken about it, but I'll just say that this isn't about you. Right, everyone's nervous when they first start doing these courses, and I get that. And this is one of the biggest reasons why people don't start seeing clients is because of the client consult part. When I studied, every single modality that I studied, not one course addressed the actual client consult or how to run a session. Not one single modality in 20 years. So it's really important that we understand how to do this, because it gives you confidence. And once you get this, your whole business will change. That's why it's important, and to not make it about you. You have to assume that they don't know what their stress is. Mic drop. Right, so if you're sitting there going, right, I'm going to listen, and if you've got counselling or psychology backgrounds, you're going to let them talk forever, right? And we don't want to do that. We want to get people out of their stress. I've worked with men. I've worked with over 25,000 men now. I'm a porn addiction specialist. I work in men's health, sexual health, mental health, study the brain, do research as published author, all the stuff. If you can't get men to talk, right, you get men that come in that just go blah, 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 and they're just in their story. Once upon a time, and my ex this, and my ex that, and then another ex, and then my mother, and da da da. And then you'll get the guys that just don't want to talk at all. So this, I guess I'm really good at this now because I've worked with men solely for, the last 10, 13 years. And so the priority stress is so important because if you don't get this part right. So what I used to do, I used to have a kinesiology form and everyone would fill that out. And yes, you have to go through a form in the first consult, but not with the renouncing past life contracts. Okay. So it's very, very different. But some people on here haven't done that course. So you want to do a form to begin with. And yes, you want to go through the pain and the mental and the emotional and the spiritual and the sexual and whatever else is going on. You want to ask those general questions, but then you want to ask them, out of all those things, what is the priority stress? What is the one thing that keeps you up at night? What is the one thing that you just can't, get over? And they won't know. They'll sit there and they won't know. And you get them to close their eyes and ask them again. Okay, so I'm going to go through that in full detail, but you can't make it about you, and you can't assume that they know what they're talking about either, right? Which is like ridiculous thing to say, I know, because it's their life and it's their shit. But nobody in that room knows the priority stress, right? This is where you have to come from a confidence kind of point of view is they don't know, I don't know, I have to find out. Put your mining hat on with the big light at the front and off you go into the tunnel, okay? And take them down the tunnel with you. Don't let them go off into all the other tunnels, all right? So get out of your nerves, get out of that whole I need to listen. You do need to listen, but you need to listen to what drops out of their mouth right from the start, which we'll go through in a sec. Okay, so I used to do it, go through the form, and then I have an assessment form. So all the things I can do, all the processes, modalities and everything, that's my assessment form. And I sit there and I muscle test and work out what exactly they need to work on. Now, if I don't have the priority stress, which is what I did for over 10 years, I am working with general stuff, all the stuff. And guess what? All my sessions ran over time. I could not rein it in. I could not get over the fact that I had not addressed. I'd only looked at 2 of the things that they talked about, and I couldn't get to the other 50 things that they talked about. And so I would pour so much energy into the sessions and get them to, and I needed to fix it all before they left. All right. But if you have a priority stress, guess what that does for both of you? Gives them more accurate muscle testing for starters. It gives them better outcomes. because you're working on one thing. I'll give you an example. I did a massage session a couple of days ago and it blew my mind. And so I was really, really specific, and I called in Merlin because I've been told to work with Merlin. My lamp started flashing. And then when he came in, he had never told anyone that he'd been raped as a 7-year-old. And he just kind of brushed over it. And I quickly just asked him a few questions. And then I said to him, this is the priority stress. We are going to put into circuit today that this is what we clear. Anyway, he screamed and yelled like you have not ever heard in your life for 20 minutes straight. Cried and screamed and yelled. About 10 minutes into the massage, he popped like a cork. Right? And then his whole entire body lifted off the table except his pelvis. His arms were behind him. He was up like this off the table, and his legs were also off the table. This was after the screaming. I saw the Kundalini go like this in his body, and bam. That man is never, ever going to be the same because I set the intention, which I've only just started doing in the massage. We're going to set the intention that we clear that today. All right, do you see how powerful that is? All right, so accuracy of testing will be your testing will be more accurate. When we do the past life clearing contracts, for example, your contracts will be more accurate if you get the stress right. There's so many case studies that I've gone through where there's only one contract that actually resonates for me as an outsider reading the case study. I'm like, the other ones don't make sense. And, there might be 7 curses. They don't really make sense to me. And I can feel it, right? I could feel it in my body. It's not just, hang on, this doesn't make sense logically. So you'll get better testing, and the specifics matter. When you're doing these courses of mine, right, you should be having the, oh my God, moments every single time you test, right? Every time you get a contract and you read it to them, you both should be like, oh my God. And if you don't have that feeling, you need to go back. You haven't got the right stress. Okay, that's why specifics matter, and the outcomes, as I said, are so much better. Now, just adding some more notes in here this morning. So sitting up for a consult is so important. A lot of kinesiologists will put you on the table first and then talk to you while you're on the table. It's really important that you see them sitting up because you've got to watch the body language, right? If you haven't got them almost crying or stuck for words, you haven't got the priority stress. That's another tip. You're looking at their body language. You're looking at them looking around the room, head down, right? They'll grab their heart, they'll grab their head, right? You're looking for that. Those are the cues in the sitting up. If people are laying down, you're not seeing any of that. You're not seeing it. They might cry, but you're not seeing it. They're settled in. They're comfy. They're in the blanket. You want to make them uncomfortable, right? That's the kind of premise for my whole business. Okay, so, and as I said, assume that they don't know what their stress is. That's really important, right, for confidence. You are the authority, not them. You are the authority, and squeeze the magic. It popped up on my Facebook memories this morning about squeezing the magic. As a coach or a practitioner, your job is to squeeze, it's not to fix them, it's to squeeze the magic out of them so they hear it and go, oh my God. All right. And yes, intuition helps. Yes, muscle testing helps. Yes, asking the right questions helps. All of that stuff is you've got to imagine they're a lemon and you got to squeeze that out. You're going to get a blood out of a stone situation many times to test you. I had a lady book in recently for the past life session and she did not have any issues. I was like, yeah, okay. So those people have the most issues, right? So I don't have any issues. Okay, so why did you book in with me? Why? For this process. She found me. I didn't, she just booked in. I said, why did you want to do this? Oh, I guess like there's some stuff there. with my ex-husband or something, I just want to see, or with her current husband or something, I just want to see, oh my God, was it a test for me? My intuition went bzzzt, and my confidence went out the door. I felt really intimidated. She was on Zoom. She was from a different country. She had an accent that I had trouble with. And I was like, oh, I was just screaming on the inside, like, what am I going to do? What is the point of this? And bam, I kept looking down at my notes, pretending I was writing, but I was really just feeling into, come on, I can do this. Okay. So it happens to the best of us. So you've got to have your protocols and your questions in place, which is why I write the protocols the way I do. So the questions are all there. You don't have to go off. Oh, your stuff is clearing today, people. Right, throat chakra. Here we go. Okay, straight into the consult. All right, so the question you ask them, what would you like to work on today? Right, I then follow up with, what is the priority stress? It's on the form that I give them. What is the priority stress? Most people, or I say, what is the one thing that's the most destabilizing? And I learned that from Marcus, my teacher in Egyptian. What is the one thing that's the most destabilizing? Most people don't know how to answer that, and they will ask, I'm not really sure. Okay, so what would you like to work on today? What is the most destabilizing thing, and what is the thing that's keeping up at night? You've got to kind of probe them a little bit. Right, so now we're going to go into this case study. Now, if you recognize your handwriting, don't stress. You've already had this review from me personally. So this person, I know the background of this person, but which helped me with the review. But anyway, so being in pain and not being able to move forward, stuck, fear of moving forward, what to move forward, feet are in mud, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It used to be 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Weight from when I was little. I feel ugly, unworthy, that people look at me life like I'm stupid. It used to be protection, but it's not protecting me. She's talking about the weight. Comforting me anymore. Ugly comes back to unworthy. Unworthy, I'm not good enough. That's a lot. So how the hell do you then go, all right, well, what's the priority stress? I mean, you could have that conversation with her and you could write all those things down. And these are all the same, by the way. So nobody's, everyone's learning. Or you can jump on the first thing that comes out of their mouth. When people are here and they're doing it in person, we draw a line. I draw a line under being in pain and not being able to move forward. Bang. That's it. Right? That is it. Then you say, tell me more about the pain. What do you mean not being able to move forward? Now, this practitioner has done that, I believe. So want to move forward, feet are in the mud, 1 step forward. So that does relate to the first thing that falls out of their mouth. But there are case studies you're going to see where people have mentioned like pain, parents, childhood, all the things. So this does kind of connect in. This person has listened and has kind of gone there, and then I feel ugly, blah, blah. But then still, like, what are we going to choose there? Now, I just happen to know that this person's weight is the biggest problem, because the weight is causing the pain and means that she can't move forward. Right? So even though it's down here, it is kind of the core issue. All right. So the priority stress that this practitioner came up with is, I've always felt like I'm not good enough. The way we rephrase that, so what we're looking for as the priority stress, basically you're looking for a belief statement. You're looking for a limiting belief statement. You have to listen out for, I feel stupid, I'm ugly, I'm not worthy, that type of stuff. You have to listen out for that. So I've always felt like I'm not good enough. What we want to do is sharpen that a little bit to, I'm not good enough. It's stronger and it has more power behind it. So words have power and words have frequency, right? And so if what I'm looking for as a practitioner is when they start to talk about the next question, which is how's it making you feel, right? I want them to be in pain. I want them to go, I don't want a blanket, right? So people are so used to talking about their stuff. Practitioners are the worst people to work on because they think they've sorted it all out. And if you get people that say, I've worked on all of this, I've dealt with this, I've forgiven this person, da, 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 bullshit. I call bullshit because there's layers and layers and layers to that for this, for the rest of your life to learn and grow. If someone is shutting it down, going, no, it's dealt with, there's no more learning happening there. Right. So this person said, the client said, when she said, so we asked, what would you like to work on today? You work out the priority stress. And then how does it make you feel? So she said probably a middle child thing and that I got looked over. Do you see how that person is throwing a blanket over? That client is analysing rather than saying how it makes her feel. So she's trying to tell you why it's probably happening. Right? So when she says that, you say, what was it like being a middle child? How did that make you feel? You have to bring it back to the feeling. What is the emotion? What is the feeling? Right? So then she's done that. Not listened to is the next. Okay. Not listened to is kind of an action. It's not a feeling. Right? So how does it feel when you're not listened to? Right? So you're jumping on the things that they are saying. So you write down the things that they said and then jump on the things that they just said before moving on to the next thing. Okay, so back here, being in pain. What pain? I don't see any mention here of pain. There's no pain. There's no specifics. There's no back pain. There's no knee pain. There's nothing. I have no idea reading this what pain she's in. She's not able to move forward. Is she able to move? Is she able to move at all? What does moving mean, right? You're jumping on the exact words. Tell me more about pain. What does moving mean? Moving forward, what does that mean? So she's going to do the general thing, which she has, stark fear of moving forward, blah, blah, bullshit. What does that mean? What does that mean, moving forward, right? And then she's given an even more general thing, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. So this is how clients speak. Don't listen to them, right? You write it down, but what does that mean, right? Because they haven't thought about what that means. They haven't thought about what the fear means, right? So what I want to see here, I just happen to know this client, so this is why I'm using this as the first one. She's one of my clients as well. So I know that she has trouble getting in and out of a car, that she has trouble flying because of her weight, right? She is embarrassed and can't function. She can't do anything with the kids, right? That's the stuff that's going to make her cry, but she hasn't listed any of that. She has gone into, I feel ugly. Tell me about ugly. Define ugly. What does ugly mean to you? Right? People are going to go, oof, and do not interrupt them. Wait, painfully wait for them to answer the question. Now, I feel shit. The people who know me know that there are certain swear words in my business. Good, great, fine, and shit. What does shit mean? Tell me about shit. Oh, and they'll go, I don't know. Okay, so feed it back to them. So you feel you're in pain. You're not able to move. You feel ugly and unworthy, and so you weren't listened to as a middle child, and it made you feel blah 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 because you'll have words by then. What does shit mean? You got to feed it back to them. Okay. Right. So let me just move my bar. Okay, so some of the questions that you can ask for the people that aren't my student. This is already in the protocol for my students. How long has it been going on for? Now, in this process of the past life session, this is vital that this has to be a long time. If someone said 4 months, bzzzt, move on to a different issue. It has to be. You have to hear them say, all my life, since I was born, forever. So she has said 50 years when I started school. So it's really, really important that you ask them for an exact memory. You can't be general here. Right? So she said 50 years. So I'm going to say, I probably know how old she is because she's told me from her form, but how old were you 50 years ago? Right? So they start to go, oh, yep. Actually, when I started school, okay, which grade is that? Because they might say it's grade 1 and you're like, oh, so it's not prep? What about kindergarten, right? So you just hang around that time and their brain is accessing all the information, right? It's going, and for someone that moves and shakes when I do sessions, my body starts to move and shake when the brain starts to access, okay? So they might be laying there saying nothing, saying, I don't know, but my body's moving, right? So you just prompt them a little bit. So, what age exactly was that? What was the memory when you started school? And what are we even talking about here? How long is what been going on for? The priority stress is I'm not good enough. Right, so I've got nothing from this, right? I don't know, how does this tie into she's not good enough? So you want to tie the priority stress in. You want to hear if she starts talking about something else, that something else happens and it's not really to do with the priority stress, then you know you've got the priority stress wrong. Have a feel into what she just said and work and be like, okay, that's abuse, for example, right? She just talked about abuse, right? So have you been abused before? This is how you then you switch priority stress. You just say, have you been abused before? Yeah, actually. How many times have you been abused? Oh my God, it's happened to me all my life. Bang, you've got the next stress, erase the last one, just got tingles then, and we're not even working on a real person, right? So you erase that and then go back. Don't be afraid to go back, people, because you're doing a disservice to your client if you keep pushing forward. Okay, and I've seen this in a lot of the case studies. So the next question is, how is it affecting your life right now? The client said, daily. I feel like I have to prove myself. I haven't wanted to be social or get out to be around people. So my question is, tell me about prove yourself. What does prove yourself mean? And then she's going to talk about that. How do you prove yourself? When do you have to prove yourself? Why do you have to prove yourself? Who are you proving yourself to? Right? So you run through the how, when, why, what, who. Okay. And then are we talking about weight? Right? So she doesn't want to be social, get out around people. She doesn't feel like she's good enough. But again, I'm like, this is coming back to weight. Okay. So then is it fear? What is the fear? If she does, what is this? The fear is she doesn't want to be social. Okay, so what are you afraid of? Right, you need more information there, and then you want to tie it back to the original consult notes. All right. So then, why do you want to correct this stress? It has to be in the positive. For my students, you'll know what I'm talking about. Other people, you won't understand. But why do you want to correct this stress? It has to be in the positive. This is where we start. So we dredge around in the shit. You've got to make them cry. You've got to make them feel. Otherwise, you haven't done your job. They've just come in off the street. They've just come in off all the shit that's going on in their life. And then they sit here and go, I don't know. They don't know, right? So you've got to get them down into the mud, right? Then we start to work in kinesiology, work in the goal state. Why do you want to correct this stress? It has to be in the positive. So she said to start feeling more positive, happy. Everyone knows that happy is also a swear word in my business, and not need to prove myself all the time, right? So I'm going to say, what does positive mean? What do you mean by positive? She's just thrown a blanket term over all of it. I just want to feel positive and happy. She doesn't want to feel pain anymore. She doesn't want to feel, she just wants relief and content. And it's also as a swear word, content and relief. Relief is a negative word, right? Relief is like, oh, I just don't want to feel the pain anymore. Okay, so I'm going to ask, what does positive mean? What would it look like to feel positive? What would it look like to feel happy? Do you know how many people I've asked, what does happy mean? They don't even know how to describe the word, right? And not need to prove myself all the time is in the negative, because the word not is in there, and she's talking about getting out of the negative. So what we want here is, you'll see some more examples down the track that are a bit better. Why do you want to correct this stress? I want to feel amazing when I get out of bed in the morning, and I want to be able to take my kids to school and go out on a date. I want to have sex with my husband and not feel embarrassed, right? But you don't write not feel embarrassed. You just write, I want to have sex with my husband. And then you say, and how would that feel if you could have sex with your husband? Right? And you'll start to see tears again in the positive if you get this right. Now, the next question we ask, and you can copy these questions for the people that aren't my students, you can use these questions. These are vital questions. This is the only questions we ask before we then start the consult. So then the next question we ask them is, what's the worst part about it? And here we go with the blankets. I limit myself. This is what practitioners say. I limit myself, and she's not a practitioner, but I know I have to work and to do, I know I have work to do and things to give people, and I don't do it. I second guess myself. Yeah, okay. I'm not feeling it, right? I'm not feeling the pain here. Is anyone feeling the pain here? I limit myself. Right. And this is what I mean by I'm a no fluff practitioner. I would never do this to a client. I'm doing it as a teaching. You're going to see my eyes rolling. You're going to see me huffing and puffing. You don't do this with the client, right? So I limit myself. How do you limit yourself? What's the worst part about that? Right? And she might say, because I don't go outside. What's the worst part about that? Oh, because, I'm too scared. What's the worst part about that? Right? And you keep going until she's crying. Right? It doesn't feel like the worst. And you need to, at this point, remind them of the pain that they have spoken about. So I'm just a bit confused. Or you just say, just let me remind you, you said that you felt this. And if you've done the first part right, this part's going to hurt like hell, which is good, right? So it's like, you said all of these things. You said you couldn't get out of the car. You said you couldn't take your kids to school. You couldn't socialize. You couldn't have sex with your husband, blah, blah, blah. What's the worst part about all of that? They might say it's one of those things, or they might say, I want to kill myself, right? That's what you're looking for. Okay. Any questions there before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, I've got a question, Catherine.
Yep.
So if someone did come back and say, I want to kill myself, like, how do you react to that? Like, you just don't sort of go, oh, yeah, just keep moving on, do you? You like...
Yep. You just write it down. Right? Because people, it's the unsaid that we're looking for. We don't say these things out loud. We don't say them to ourselves, not in those words necessarily. You might feel like you want to kill yourself, right? We're just going to go there. I deal with suicidal people all the time. I have been in that state. I did not want to be here many times in my past. More recently, a couple of years ago, I did not want to be here. Did I want to kill myself? I didn't want to go through the act of it. And that is the feeling that a lot of people, it's very common to feel that, right? So it's not a planned thing. It's I don't want to be here. I can't do this anymore. So you could say, if she said, I want to kill myself, okay. And what's the worst part about that? My kids would be without their mother. You can imagine she's crying now, right? And what's the worst part about that? I'm not going to see them grow up, right? So you're going to swing the I want to kill myself to I'm going to miss out on all of the good stuff that I want to be grateful for. So that's another way to work with that. Any questions? Does that answer your question, Kirsten?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because I've kind of been in a situation where someone's maybe said something and I'm like, well, how do I want to answer that? But you don't really need to. You need to swing it around. So yeah, that's good.
And you don't swing it around with positive. Absolutely not. And you look, if you're in a certain field, you would have to ask them a question of, have you made any plans to kill yourself? But in that moment, that's not what we're doing. We're asking them, what is the worst part about killing yourself? Because guess what? They haven't thought about that. Right? The reason why they're still here is because they may have thought about that. So you just gotta swing it around. What's the worst part about that? Just keep going. Don't be afraid. You have to take people to the dark place, because then you're gonna pull them out. Right? The rest of the protocol is not here in the case study, people, but there's a big, long 2-hour process of pulling them out of this in all the positive ways. Okay, so second case study. We're looking at health issues, is what they said first. What would you like to work on today? My health issues. Oof, that's not general. What do you mean by health issues? Right, skin, stomach. And then bam, she's gone into not worthy, not seen. Who do you think you are? I don't know what that means. Keep quiet. Behave. Happen at work, in relationships. I don't matter. I don't make sense. Okay, so do we work on the health issues or do we work on the not worthy, not seen? Because I wasn't there, I don't know how we got from health issues, skin, stomach to not worthy and not seen. But I have professional experience and training to know that the stomach is about criticism and not being able to stomach life and nourishment or lack of, which is self-worth, not being seen, all of that stuff. Okay. So the thing that jumps out at me here is not worthy and not seen. So, right. So when I say you want to jump on the first thing that comes out of their mouth, because if it is not the exact thing, hey, Deborah, you're drawing on my screen, love. If it's not the exact thing, because it may not come out, they may say the big thing straight up, but most of the time the big thing leads to the big thing, right? So the first thing leads to the big thing, but you've got to go down that same rabbit hole. You don't go like rabbit holes everywhere, all right? So the thing I've circled on these notes is not worthy and not seen. Okay, quite generalized, right? We might be getting there, but the thing that jumps out to me on that page is I don't matter. You can see the pink circles, that's my writing. I don't matter. So then the priority stress, we go down the bottom here, is this practitioner has come up with, I've always felt disregarded. My questions are, where has this come from? Where did this word come from, disregarded? It's not in the client consult. The number one tip I'm going to give you in the client consult is write down exactly what they say. When I do client consults, I very rarely write down the story or the bullshit. I write down the quotes of what they say, because in kinesiology, we can muscle test those quotes. You get them to say it on the table and they go, shit, did I even say that? They don't even realize they're saying it. Right? So you have to write down, and this is for my students, you have to write down exactly the words that they use, because where has this come from? How did we go from I don't matter to I always felt disregarded? Right. So then if I'm looking at the priority stress, because I wasn't there, what does disregarded mean? What do you mean by disregarded, right? I don't feel like we've got, what does this even mean? The other way we're going to sharpen this is you take out I've always felt disregarded and is I'm disregarded by, right? You want more information there. It's still a belief statement, but there's like missing information here. I've always felt disregarded by who? Family? Is it relationships? Is it children? we need more specifics there in the priority stress, because now what we're going to see is a session that is very, very generalized, which it was. Okay, so then how is it making you feel? She said, I don't belong anywhere. I'm hiding who I am to fit in, and I feel rejection and disregarded. Okay, so now we're starting to see where this word comes in. Now, you can go back if you're already at the making them feel stage and they say something in here which is very common, that is more powerful and bigger than something you've written down here. Don't be afraid to go back. That is the priority stress. Because some people are a tough nut to crack. Okay, so I don't belong anywhere. I have circled on the case study. This is the priority stress. Oof. Oh. I'm working on it. Right? I don't belong anywhere. Do you see how much more powerful that statement is than this? Okay. Right. Next questions were, how long has it been going on for? As long as I can remember. Okay. So too general. What age were you? And especially with mum. So what happened? What happened at this age? Because they will struggle with this part, but it's so important. If you don't get specifics when you ask them how long it's been going on for, the subconscious mind is just in a general blanket state. So my question is when, what age, and what happened? So when, what age, how, those are the questions you're going to ask there. How is it affecting your life right now? I'm not living, I'm just existing. Feeling restricted in energy and body, a burden. I've circled a burden. Right? And we could then, if we haven't got enough strength and your body's not moving, shaking, she's not crying and stuff around the priority stress, then I'm always a burden. Could be the priority stress. Right, so why do you want to correct this stress in the positive? To be free, no judgment from others or myself, to dance, move, be expansive. Right, so you're going to see here, what does it mean? I'm going to jump on this, to be free, blah, blah. What does that mean? What does it mean to be free? They will not know how to answer that question, right? You're looking for a high vibration answer here. To be free, what does that mean? No judgment, that's in the negative. Swing it, right? So they're going to say it in the negative. It's your job to turn it around into the positive. How would it feel to not have any judgment from others? Why is it important to fix that in your life? And then they'll come out with the positive. Okay. The next bit, what's the worst part about it? I feel I'm a burden. Ding, ding, right? Starting to see a few same answers here. Insignificant, I'm different. Okay. How do you feel like a burden? Why do you feel insignificant? What's the worst part about that? I'm different. What does that mean? You're different to what? So we say these statements, these belief statements to ourselves and to other people when they ask. It's a safety mechanism. Oh, I'm different. People don't understand me because I'm different. I'm not saying this lady's saying this. I could say that myself. I'm a bit of a freak. I've got all these gifts and abilities. I'm different. People don't understand. I'm right. They're wrong. It's a protective thing to make ourselves right and protected. I'm different. Different how? How are you different? What's the worst part about that? Just keep asking, what's the worst part about that? What's the worst part about that? All right, any questions that one? No? Okay. All right, the next one. The person said, what would you like to work on today? I'd like to work on money, self-judgment. What's wrong with me? Why don't people like me? I trigger people. I don't belong. I'm different. I don't matter for as long as I remember. Oh my God. What's happening there? Right, that's a lot. Okay, I'm just going to quickly go down and you will see what the priority stress is. The practitioner came up with, I have never felt love. Where is, I haven't found this in here. There hasn't been enough digging here. And for those doing case studies, there haven't been enough notes for me to jump from how did we come to this? I've never felt love. Right, so I'm going to pull this apart. Money, what first thing she said was money. Tell me more about money. Why is money a problem? Why do you want to work on that today? Right, and keep digging. Don't let her just fluff it off because she'll move on to the next one. Self-judgment might have been connected to love because there's a dash there. I wasn't there, so I can't say. So what's wrong with me? Whew. What's wrong with me? Is that connected to money? Is it she can't save, that type of thing? I can't see from this case study, but what's wrong with me is it has a lot more power behind it than the word self-judgment. Why don't people like me? I trigger people, right? That's another protective statement. I trigger people. That's their trigger, right? It's that whole not taking responsibility for what's going on for her. Right, I don't belong, I'm different, blah, 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 right? So the questions will be, well, what do you mean by I don't matter? What's wrong with me? What do you mean by that? Don't get down to this part here. You just got to go for the first things they say. Now, if this is the priority stress, because I wasn't there, I have never felt love. Loved, love, loving, lovable. Which one is it? I've never received love. I've never received love from who, right? This statement is not enough as the priority stress. And I question that. You've never felt love? Really? Have you never felt it in any moment of your life with any single person on this planet? It's, again, a protective statement. I've never felt loved. Nobody loves me. Everyone rejects me, blah, 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 right? So is it romantic? Is it with friends? Is it with parents? Is it with your kids? Is it with everybody that's ever come in your life? But then I'm questioning, if she hasn't felt love, what has actually happened? Because it's not about I've never felt love. It's about abuse, or it's about attracting narcissists, or it's about being rejected by parents at a young age. It might be alcoholic parents or something, right? So it's like this isn't it, okay? So then how does it make you feel? I've never felt love. We're going to go with that, right? So how does it make you feel when you've never felt love? Worthless, alone, not lovable, don't belong, I want to disappear, right? So there's that suicide thing showing up. But I don't feel enough. Like, you want to disappear, why? What kind of love have you had in your life? What has love meant to you? We cover this in the inner child course. Like, what has love shown up as? Abuse, right? Bam, you've got it. It's not about love, it's about abuse. We're looking for the priority stress. This is kind of the outcome. Does that make sense? Right, so you're going to ask, what do you mean by I want to disappear? What do you mean by you don't belong? What do you mean by not lovable? Right, and so I see worthless and alone. There's some emotions there, but we want more emotions. Okay, so then how long has it been going for? All my life, all this life. Yep, too general. We need a specific memory. We need an actual age. All my life. Okay, so since you were born, since you were conceived, right, go really specific. If it has been with her parents as a baby, how old as a baby? Which is it in utero? So she said all this life versus past life, right? So you need to ask more specific information there. How is it affecting your life right now? She said blocked, separate, disconnected, dark patch in my heart, dark mass, not giving in relationships, sabotaging, escaping, disengaging. Woof, now we're getting to it. Right now she's really saying the stuff, right? And that's the only one I've seen where someone has come out and said, and there's nothing for me to, I mean, you could go into this, but she has really let rip. All right. What does a dark mass in your heart feel like? How is that affecting your life? So yes, she has given some, general disconnected how, from who, right? Don't worry about the time. This consult is vital for the rest of the information that comes through in the session. Why do you want to correct this stress in the positive? She wants to feel love, complete, peace, feel whole, deep connection, empowered. Yeah, okay. Define love. If she's never been loved her whole life, how does she want it to feel? What does love feel like? Right? Complete. Another blanket statement. Complete how? What would be complete? Right? Why do you want to correct this stress? I want to feel whole. Okay, why? You want to feel peace, feel whole, deep connection. What does connection mean to you? Empowered, right? So jump on the words and define them. What's the worst part about it? I feel numb, safe in not feeling, and I feel different. So we're starting to see that different thing again, right? So what does that mean? If she's saying this again, it's coming up again in the subconscious mind. It's your job to squeeze that lemon. What does feeling different mean, right? Establish what she means by that. Don't let her just throw it out again. Right? And numb how? Safe and not feeling. What does that mean, right? Any questions on that one? No? Is everyone awake? You're all dead. Great. Okay, I'm just going to pretend you're still here. All right, the next one. All throughout my life, all throughout her life, she has retreated, withdrawn when made to feel insignificant or that she doesn't matter. Now, I know that there are people that are counsellors and things like that. They have counselling training beforehand, and you've done case studies and all of that. I have spoken to this student. This stuff, you're not writing it in the third person. You're writing it what they are saying to you in the first person, right? So I can't get a feel for what the person said when someone summarizes like that. What I would jump on though, if these were her words, retreated and withdrawn, what does that mean? Right? When made to feel insignificant or that she doesn't matter. Anyway, you'll see the next bit. Was made to feel like this is a child around 2 years old. She felt like she had to be quiet and play small, was made to feel invisible at times, right? Why? Has felt small her whole life, unsupported by her mum who wasn't around a lot. So this is a summary, and especially an aftermath summary, and it doesn't I can't get a grip on what's happened and what this person said and what the pain is. You have to write exactly what the person says. All right, so has felt small her life, unsupported by her mum. She wasn't around a lot. This was carried through to all her relationships in her life. She's done a lot of work around this, but the priority stress that resonated with her the most was, I need to be small. All right, so we've got priority stress there. I need to be small. I don't see how we got there. I don't feel the pain. I don't see the rabbit hole. Down we go. All right. And I have spoken to this student, so she knows exactly, and she'll be watching this recording. So hi. All right, so making them feel, how does it make you feel? And they said alone and unworthy, not loved, and I didn't matter. I'm not feeling it. What does it feel like to be alone? What does unworthy mean? What's it feel like to not be loved? When you felt like it didn't matter, how does that feel, right? So keep going back to how does it feel, how does it feel, how does it feel? So how long has it been going on for? So in this situation, whoops. I can't even guess. So I need to be small. I've written because, right? So the rest of the statement should have a because there. Define what small means. I need to play small because I get attacked. All right. Now, if you're a practitioner, like we all are, we all know this feeling. You haven't said it to yourself, but you're playing small because of one silly person 30 million years ago that said something to you on a post, and your subconscious mind took it in and you went, see, there's the evidence that I'm a fraud, that I'm not good enough, right? So we know how this feels. I need to be small. There's not enough information there. How long has it been going on for? All her life, as young as 2 years old, mother not around a lot, right? So my notes are, I need a specific memory. right? So she's going to say, the client, oh, like 2 years old. And I'm going to go, okay, so do you remember being 2? Oh, not really, but I know my mum wasn't around a lot, right? Avoid that, right? So she's just throwing an adult thing around it. She's heard from somebody somewhere that her mum wasn't there. She's going to guess as young as 2. Okay, so give me a specific memory. When was the first time you remember feeling playing small? Got to take it back to the priority stress. When is she playing small? As young as 2 years old? What does that mean? What was happening at 2 years old that she was playing small? You need a specific age and a specific memory. How's it affecting your life right now? So again, it's in the third person. So feels emotionally unsupported. When triggered, she has an instant feeling of withdrawal and feels like she has to make herself as small as possible. It affects her relationships. We're going to jump on some words there if we wanted to, but again, it's not in the first person. It's not in quotes. She's not saying, I don't know what this person's actually saying. So why do you want to correct this stress? In the positive, she wants to move forward and live her life, not having to think about this and not have it affect her. Guess what I'm going to say about those sentences if there's the word not in it? So how would it feel not having to think about this? How would it feel not to have this affect you? Right? Why is that important to you? Why do you want to correct this stress? Nobody knows the answer to this question and no one has asked themselves. If you think about the shit you're all going through at the moment, have you thought about why you want to fix it? Right? Have you thought about what you actually want versus what's happening now? I learned this years ago. You stand in the shower and you look up and you send a flare up to the universe and you say, I want a happy, amazing relationship with my mother versus whatever the shit is going on now with my mother, right? This is what we're doing. Why do you want to correct this stress? They don't know. It's your job to find out. What's the worst part about it? She feels alone and not supported at all. Does that feel sad and painful to you? I don't feel it. And I'm not bagging out the practitioner, right? I don't feel it. Right? Why is that bad? What's the worst part about feeling alone? What's the worst part about not feeling supported? I'll give you an answer to that question because I felt unsupported my entire life. So the worst part about me feeling unsupported was that I would die in my house and no one would even know I was there. That's what you're looking for, okay? The next case study, what would you like to work on today? Anyone got any questions about the last one? All right, so we're working with shoulder pain, is what she said first, having the world on her shoulders, feeling helpless and out of control, feeling useless. But then went on to no control throughout life, happened through school. What I wanted didn't matter. Parental control made me feel sad and angry. There's a lot there, right? So we just draw the line and we ask, what does helpless feel like? What does out of control mean to you? And tell me more about the shoulder pain. Okay. Right. And then the priority stress was, I don't ever feel heard. How did we get from here to here, right? I don't ever feel heard. So how is it making you feel? Angry and sad. That's not enough. Angry and sad, everyone feels angry and sad. So give me more around that. All right, so I've circled helpless, out of control. What do these mean? What does feeling useless mean? But I want to know what's this shoulder pain and having the world on your shoulders. Right, that's more, I don't ever feel heard. I can't see how this kind of links into here. The angry and sad, we need more there. The next question, how long has it been going on for? 40 years approximate. Again, we need the age, an actual memory. How old were you at 40 years ago? What happened? Who was there? How is it tying back into you not feeling heard? What was that first memory? How is it affecting your life right now? Pain, not heard, have to shout if something needs saying. It's like, what's going on? What's going on there? right? What is pain? What is not heard? What is, so you need more information on all of these. You're kind of getting the gist of it now. Why do you want to correct this stress in the positive energy? Oh my God. This is another swear. Everybody wants more energy. Nobody has enough energy. Most people wake up tired. It's just a thing, right? And so you want more energy, but why? Why do you need more energy? And how has that got anything to do with feeling heard? Self-worth. What does that even mean? Self-worth what? You want more self-worth, right? So that's negative. So if you had more self-worth and you had more energy and you felt like you were being heard, what would that look like? Right? And what's the worst part about it? I feel like a child and unheard. Sad that it is still happening as an adult, right? So she's just throwing blankets over this, right? She's analysing it. What is the worst part about not being heard? You want to make them sad. You want to get them to cry. Any questions? Next one, what would you like to work on today? I don't hold my tongue in relation to my children's partners. And then a big essay in the third person, which I won't go through. I wasn't wanted by my dad. This is a past life healing, right? I wasn't wanted by my dad is a little bit too specific. So I would say to her, first of all, this is about rejection, right? So where else in your life have you felt rejected? And you're looking for all the times that you felt rejected, bam. So it's about rejection. It's not about her dad. And the word wasn't is in the past. So you would say, my dad doesn't want me, if you were to rephrase that. Is there a pattern of rejection here? Because this isn't the priority stress. And this has nothing to do with this. So how does it make you feel when you're not wanted by your dad? It's not what she first said, but sad, angry, hurt, not feeling loved. It's not big enough, right? It's not juicy enough. You haven't got enough shit out of you haven't squeezed your lemon there. Right? Because I want to see here rejected, abandoned. When you don't feel loved, how does that feel? What is that feeling in your heart, in your body, in your life? Right? And so it's been happening since she was a teenager, around the age of when she was told her dad wasn't her real dad. Okay, so has she been lied to? Yes. Is that a thing in her life? Go back, redo the priority stress. This is about being lied to. Okay? And then how is it affecting your life right now? Her two sons are experiencing toxic relationships. Bam. This is nothing to do with her. Nothing. How is it affecting your life right now? Her sons are in toxic relationships and she's been finding this triggering. That's so peripheral, right? How is it affecting your life right now? I don't get along with my son's two partners. He doesn't listen to me, or I feel like I can't speak to them, or, that type of thing. She's carrying a lot of anger from not being wanted and angry that her sons are not being treated well. Again, it's outside of her. It's external. Yeah. And so it's about, I'm really angry about what? What is there's a lot of anger and toxic stuff in here, but she's not saying what it's to do with her. Right? So why do you want to correct this stress in the positive? Because she's not the person she wants to be when she's carrying so much anger and it is making her unhappy. Watch my eyes roll. Ooh, right? She's not the person she wants to be, right? Blanket term, umbrella term. She's carrying so much anger. Bullshit, right? And again, just a disclaimer, you do not act like this in front of the client. Right, so it's in the negative for starters. She's carrying so much anger. It's in the negative. You want them to be saying, I want. Right, if they struggle here, you get them to say, I want. Because she's not saying that at all. She's not saying what she really wants, right? So what's the worst part about it? She can't let go of the anger. Really? We're all carrying around anger, right? What does it mean to her because she's holding on to so much anger? What is the worst part about that? I can't let it go. Okay, bullshit. Tell me, what is the worst part about that? It's eating me alive. I can't sleep at night. That's what we're looking for. She may ruin her relationship with her sons when she can't hold her tongue. I'm so angry that I act out on other people, right? There's no responsibility being taken by this client. You've got to get them to talk about their stuff. And what is the worst part about that? You know, if you couldn't hold your tongue and if you blurted out a whole lot of stuff to your in-laws or your sons, then what's the worst part about that? I would lose everybody. Do you see the difference? Bam. And you can cut them off and just say, bring them back to the question. Like that's not it. That's not it. Right, next one. Lack confidence and being in my power. Women have sabotaged my life. Aunt brought terror to my life, have her voice in my head, in my life, in my head. I'm scared of being seen, scared of knowing who she is, maybe. Confrontation, guilt, fear of judgment from others, fear of control in relationships. Right, so first thing I've got here is lack confidence and being in my power. I've circled that. So how does that show up? What do you mean by confidence? What do you mean by being in your power? Because she skipped into, I don't know if this was related to this, but everyone knows, my students now, it's the first thing that falls out of their mouth. Then you ask them a question about that, and then about that, and then about that, and you go down that rabbit hole. If that rabbit hole comes up empty, you go back and then say, tell me something that's really bothering you, something that's been happening all your life, and then bang, go down that rabbit hole. Okay. So I am terrified of relationships is the priority stress there. This being in my power thing is screaming out at me. Confidence, blah, blah, everyone's lacking confidence. Power, being in my power is kind of standing out there. I am terrified of relationships. And then my question is, what does terrified mean? And are we talking about romantic relationships or all relationships, friends, family, fear of control in all relationships, you would say there, if it's all relationships or romantic relationships. All right. So the investigation, it's not bad, but there's something about the power and the fear of control. And then I'm terrified of relationships. So we probably, because I wasn't there, I can't say, but we probably need the words control and power in the priority stress. You could say this can be quite long, but succinct, if that makes sense. So you need more detail. I'm terrified of romantic relationships because I always end up being controlled. Okay. So she says making her feel scared. What does scared mean? Plays out in her dreams. That's not a feeling. That's a discussion point. So when they don't say an emotional feeling, it's a discussion point. Plays out in your dreams. How? What happens in your dreams? How does that make you feel? How do you wake up? All right. And then vertigo, losing control of my mental state. Again, I know I think this girl's a practitioner. So people are, throwing blankets over stuff and just saying, I'm losing control of my mental state. That's her analysis of the situation. But how does it feel when you've got vertigo? It's fucking scary. I feel like I'm falling. I feel like I'm losing myself. All right. You're looking for these key things. Then they're going to be like, oh my God, as they're talking, they're going to hear themselves and then go, what the fuck at the end of it? Okay. You want the, oh my Gods. All right. How long has it been happening? My whole life since birth. Really? Really? It's been happening since birth? That you are, what was the stress? Terrified of relationships. so you say to them, what, since birth, mum was in the same position, right? So we're just throwing a whole lot of just information in there. So what do you mean since birth? When did you take it back to the priority stress? How did you feel controlled since birth? And they might correct themselves and go, oh, actually, so give me your first memory of feeling controlled. This is so key, this section here. Right, specific age, memory, specific memory, and don't let them throw things, over it. Okay, so how's it affecting my life right now? Not getting what I want, don't use full potential, don't know how to find it, true connection. Right? Not getting what I want. What does that mean? Don't use my full potential. What is your full potential? Right? You're going to stump people. They're going to be like, actually, I don't know. So it's just a load of bullshit. Basically, we all do it. I do it. We say things. We don't know what they mean. They're just words in the English language. What is the meaning behind it? I don't know how to find it. True connection. Okay. This elusive true connection that everyone's talking about. What is that to you? What does that mean to you? What is true connection? Have you had it before? Has it happened and you can't, sorry, I'm just leaning some people in. Wait. Have you had true connection before? Describe, because people will try to go to the future and they don't know what they're talking about, right? So you'll stump them on true connection, but then you'll say, have you felt it before? When have you felt true connection? And it might be a snippet in a relationship, right? We've all felt snippets of things in our lives, including love. So the people that say I've never been loved, there's always snippets of it. Might be the person at the supermarket that gives you a compliment in the aisle, right? So when have you felt that true connection, right? And so she's saying, don't know how to find it. How is that affecting your life, though? Bring it back to this question. Why do you want to correct this stress? In the positive, I want to enjoy life. Oh, my God. Eyes roll. Right? What does it even mean you want to enjoy life? Are you not enjoying life? And yeah, okay, it's okay, right? So what does that mean? Not to be afraid of relationships and people. So right, getting a bit more specific, but it's in the negative. So if you weren't afraid of relationships and people, like why do you need to correct that and keep going until they give you a positive? If she wants to give from her heart, bam, right there it is there. Next one. What's the worst part about it? Stuck, frustrated, wasting life. Again, they're just words, right? Stuck is negative. Is general. Frustrated, general, wasting life. That person's not crying, are they? All right, we want to get them to cry. What's the worst part? What do you mean by wasting life? Oh, I'm meant to be married by now and I'm meant to have kids and, that stuff. Okay, so what's the worst part about that? The fact that you don't have that. Push it back on them. I feel like I'm going to die alone is the worst part about that. Okay. What's the time? Right, we've got 2 more to do, but I'm going to come off here. Stop share. Okay, does anyone have any questions? You can come off mute. Just want to ask a few things, and I can do a live one if you like, rather than going through any more case studies, just to get some more interaction. Hello, dead people. Somebody come off and talk to me.
Not a question necessarily, just remembering how hard it is to kind of filter out the crap, to catch them up and pull them up on the rubbish that comes out of our mouths.
Yeah. And you're not being judgmental because it's your job. And we do it ourselves. We talk the shit, How are you going today? Yeah, I'm good. Everything, I'm great. Like, it starts there, right? We're so used to shutting it all down and putting a little blanket over it and just, summarizing it because we think people don't want to know. And we've conditioned ourselves to do that. So, yeah, just put your bullshit meter on, right? You got your headlight and your bullshit meter. right? And you just got to call them on it. But all you're doing is analyzing every single word that falls out of their mouth and not letting them get away with it. It's really, really important. Does anyone want to do a live one? Does anyone want to volunteer? Julie? Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Let me just change the view.
Excuse my throat. I'm
You what? Sorry?
I'm homesick today, so I'm a little bit congested.
Oh, good for you getting on camera. Okay. So if I was doing a past life clearing with you, and we're going to work with a priority stress, a thing that's been happening to you your entire life, a pattern that keeps showing up, whether it's in relationships or like your own sabotages. If we wanted to work on something that's stressing you out so much that you can't, it's keeping you awake at night, or it's at the bottom of the to-do list because you just can't kind of shift it, or you've been working on it your whole life, and you feel like, why isn't this going away? Why does this keep happening? What is something that you could work on?
Confidence. And believing.
Confidence. And what, sorry?
And believing in myself.
Okay, so tell me about confidence.
Confidence is probably doubting myself within things that I do in life, and people telling me you're not capable of doing those things, and you start to believe them.
Yeah. Okay, so what type of things are we talking about when you say you're doubting yourself?
Probably starting my business, getting that up and running.
What is your business?
Starlight Healings, just to do some healings, my DNA, my reclaiming sexual sovereignty, getting that all up.
Okay, and what exactly are you doubting yourself about getting that all up and running?
Confidence and fear and doubt.
Fear of what?
Fear of probably succeeding or failing.
Okay, bullshit meter just went bing, 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 bing.
Okay. That's probably
Right.
right.
This is a teaching moment, right? So she just threw the practitioner, the typical practitioner, imposter syndrome, basically,
Yeah.
right? We hear it in every course that I do. I go around the room and every single one of them are working on the same thing. And it's all this kind of fear of success and fear of failure, right? So fear of success, it's not that. It's not fear of failure. What are you not, where are you stuck in your business?
Getting it up and running. Like I've done classes
Okay.
on today. They're paying ones, but it's just getting my healing up and doubt of me. Doubt of me giving a good session.
So when you say getting it up and running, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so getting it up and running would be advertising it enough, putting it out there. I'm happy to take swaps where we don't pay, but it's probably receiving the cash, the worthiness within me.
All I heard was after advertising and putting it out there was blah, 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 right? And please don't take offense to this. This is a teaching mode. Now I teach, right? So advertising and putting it out there, right? Forget what she says after that, right? So it's the very first thing that comes out of their mouth, and then they'll go off into story. Just ignore that. Writing this down, I've now got advertising and putting it out there. Why are you advertising?
To be of service.
No, are you advertising? Do you have ads up?
I put one up about 3 weeks ago. Not daily.
Yep, where about?
What about was just putting out a healing for a special after Christmas.
Right, and so was it like a social media post or an actual ad, or what was it?
No, it was a social media post.
Okay. So I teach practitioners business, and just on a side note, a post is not an ad. A post is not advertising, it's marketing. right? So this is what, like, you might think, what the hell? She's going into like full business mode and stuff, but I am following that rabbit hole, right? So she put up a post 3 weeks ago. So you're not advertising and you're not putting it out there, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct.
And is it because you haven't allocated any time to sit down and do it? Is it because you don't know how to do it? What is the block here around doing advertising?
Don't know how to do it.
Okay, can everyone feel what's happening now? Okay, when else in your life have you felt like you don't know how to do it?
A lot of times.
Tell me another time, another thing that you felt like you didn't know how to do it, apart from advertising.
Probably the journey of motherhood.
Yeah. So business, motherhood. What about relationships?
Yeah, that's probably in it too, because it's all learning.
Right, I'm not going to write that down, right? So it's a probably or a maybe, it's a no, everybody, right? So motherhood and business. Motherhood is screaming out to me, right? Because I mean, most of us mothers, we know exactly that whole bullshit that goes on with that, the doubt. So I don't know how to do it. How does it feel when you don't know how to do it?
Scary.
Whatever it. Sorry?
Scary. Overwhelmed.
Scary.
And
Yeah.
I probably meltdown.
Meltdown. Yep. And so you said earlier that people are telling you that you're not capable. Did
Yeah,
anyone tell you that you weren't?
Family.
Family. Did anyone tell you weren't capable of being a mum or tell you off for the things that you were doing or question your decisions?
My decisions as parenting, yes. But maybe the first one's a bullshit one.
Oh, just say it. Don't.
But put me down with parenting.
Who did?
My sisters.
Okay. So we can feel the vibe now is I'm not good enough, but that would be a blanket term, right? So I don't know how to do it is so what I'm trying to get her to say is what I'm feeling, right? And I'm going to lead her. I'm not going to put words in her mouth ever. Right. Sometimes if you get a blood and a stone situation, you've got to like, does it feel this? Does it feel that? And you can go one extreme to the other so that you get them to say the word. Right. So what I'm looking for here is she's telling me she doesn't know how to do it. So yes, it's self-doubt, but that's the general term, right? I don't know how to do it. And it makes her feel scared, overwhelmed. There's meltdown. There's people have questioned her, right? So what I'm trying to get her to say is something like, I feel inadequate, stupid, like none of this, like frustrated, like that's, yeah, okay, but I'm trying to get her to say that she's incapable.
Yeah.
I'm telling you because you're here, but it doesn't work when the person is here, right? So I would say, I mean, it doesn't work now because I've already explained it, but I'm going to say, but how does it feel when you really don't know how to do it? Like if you're sitting there and you're like, fuck, I don't know how to advertise my business. So I would feed back to her everything she said and put a bit of passion and like, you know, energy and emotion into it. And she'd be like, because I feel stupid. You've got to crack the nut. Okay. So let's say that she said, I feel stupid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel capable. Right? So the priority stress is I don't feel capable. You could go with I don't know how to do it, but we have to define it. Now, she's defined it as motherhood and business. Yes, it's self-doubt and all the confidence and stuff, but confidence is a buzzword that people use for like motivation. I'm just not motivated to do it. It's like an imaginary thing that people are waiting for to come along, and they're so hard on themselves because they're not motivated, right? Confidence is that same elusive thing that we don't know how to get, and we do all the work on ourselves and it doesn't shift it, all of that stuff, right? So I don't feel capable. So I've just muscle tested. So this is also, guys, this is your muscle testing. Do I have the priority stress? Yes, no. Right? There is a thing in the protocol that says, do I have enough information? That's what we're looking for. Do I have the priority stress? We could even go with, I feel stupid, if she said that. Right? If that falls out of her mouth, I feel stupid. Okay, so tell me, how does it feel when you feel stupid, blah, blah, blah. And then I would say, how long has this been going on for that you didn't feel like you know how to do things? How long has it been going on for? I think you said all my life.
Yep.
Okay, since when? What age can you remember when you felt like you couldn't do something? Just close your eyes for me. Always get them to close their eyes when you're looking for a memory, because they'll look around the room and there's no filing system in the room. They need to access the subconscious mind by closing their eyes. So all my life is what? When was the first memory of you feeling like you couldn't do it or you couldn't do something?
I had 5 in my head, but 3's just popped in. So it's a 3.
Age 3, yep. But give me a specific moment in time when you remember not being able to do something and the stress that caused. Without meaning to do that, I know she's accessing the information because that just came through, right? So your body will start to, and don't listen to the shit, right? Don't take it at surface level. Wait for things to start to appear. So moving, shaking, heat, energy, crying, right? That's your validation of you're starting to really get to this, okay? She's closing her eyes. That's all she did was close her eyes, and I started talking light language and moving and shaking and having a hot flush. Okay, tell me the memory.
I have 2 memories. One memory is just sitting beside my sister and the youngest sister in the thing. I can't remember what's happened. But the other one at 5 was a school thing that I got into trouble for talking in class and thought I was cheating.
Right, we're going to go with that one because she's got more details around it, right? So age 5, getting in trouble for cheating, and you didn't, is that correct?
In class, and I got into really big trouble because I was asking how to do something and they told me I was cheating. I was removed out the classroom. I got into very big trouble. Wasn't heard, seen, no one listened.
Does everyone feel this is what, she started saying confidence and believing in myself, and now we're getting down to like she's in the classroom and she's traumatized and she's getting in trouble because she asked how to do something and she got shut down and in trouble. Not just shut down as in, no, I can't help you now. It's like, we're going to punish you for asking for help. How do you go, Julie, asking for help in general?
I do struggle with it. Definitely.
Yep. And so do you ask for help with your business?
No, neither.
I promised I wouldn't sell on this call, but let me know if you need some help, right? And I can just give you tiny little bits of advice. Just bam, just do this. Put a Gumtree ad up and see what happens, right? And then that's it. And so advertising and all of that stuff, when you don't know how to do something, but you know you have to do something, ask somebody who knows. It can be a friend. It can be someone that you just saw, you saw them do it, right? Forget the people that are charging $20,000, a month and all that stuff, right? If you see me do something and you go, oh, just send me a text and go, how do I do that? Right? Nikki's one of my good friends here, and yesterday she just said, "How do I just realized I've been doing this big long process of like, you know when you have to put up a video on stories and you've only got 30 seconds." Well, she was like putting it up, which is what we all used to do, put it up, and then you have to trim it because they ask you to trim it, and then you have to find out where it was up to and then trim the next bit and, trim. There's an app that I know about that takes me 2 seconds, and I just put up the video, it chops it into 30-second things, right? And it's no skin off my back to give you that teaching moment and just pass on my knowledge, right? I'm very generous with my time and my resources and my knowledge and stuff. And not just with my friends. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to set you up. Oh, we'll have to do a session and I'll have to find out. Bullshit, right? So you want to know what the app is? Yes. What is the app called, Nikki? Oh, I have to go. Shit, I just realised the time. Okay, the app is, I'll just tell you that and then we'll go. And we're just going to set the intention that all the stuff we just stirred up for Julie is just going to be released and cleared by my guides and angels while I'm driving. Split video, it's called.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, so I've got to go pick up my daughter. I completely forgot. So any questions after this, just send me a PM on Facebook. Students, if you haven't got your, what are they called, case studies in, please do them, right? But do one at a time. Do one and send it in to me, and then I'll do a review, and then you'll nail the second one. Don't do 2 wrong ones and then send them in, because you may even have to repeat them. And, we know that's not fun. Right, any questions, let me know. All right. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and hopefully you got a lot out of this. And I love teaching, and I get a lot out of it as I go as well. And it helps me as a practitioner to teach this stuff. So it's just next level. Oh. Have a great day, everyone. See you. Bye.